source if present. If you're not in the cams, Freddy has a 25% chance to attack every second. Obviously, it should be noted that if Freddy hasn't succeeded in a movement opportunity while in the phase, he can't do anything. Freddy is easily the hardest character to deal with out of everyone. Oh yeah, Freddy kills you if the power runs out. This sequence is super simple. Once the power runs out, all normal game players cancel. It's all about timers now. There's 3 phases to the blackout phase. In phase 1, every 5 seconds there's a 20% chance to progress to the second stage. However, after 20 seconds, phase 2 just activates immediately, where Freddy shows up at the left door playing his March song. Phase 2 has the same chance of 20% every 5 seconds to advance, otherwise we go straight to the third and final phase. In this phase, 20 has a 20% chance to kill you every 2 seconds, and when it succeeds, you die. Something interesting to note is that if you activate Golden Freddy before the power goes out, Golden Freddy can kill you in the blackout phase. Now, Golden Freddy is obviously really simple. While no one can agree on exactly what the chance of him is, the agreed upon stat is that it has a 1 in 100,000 chance to spawn in. Although you don't actually have to check the poster to be spawned in, but if you don't check the poster, he can't spawn into your office. From there, you flip the monitor up to avoid him or stare at him, experience a jump scare, and then have your game crash. Golden Freddy has 2 other appearances. If you type 1987 into the custom night, Golden Freddy jump scares you. Also, every time you game over, there's a 0.0001% chance of the game taking to the Golden Freddy jump scare. Pretty cool. Now for the Easter eggs, they pretty much work the same as the Golden Freddy system. A Bonnie Bear death screen and Freddy death screen has a 1 in 1,000 chance of occurring every single time you die. Any camera Easter egg has a 1 in 100 chance of occurring every second. The Foxy Humming and Circus Pipe Organ both have a 1 in 30 chance to happen every second. And finally, the random door panel that you hear has a 1 in 50 chance of happening every second.
And that at all. And then the second thing that you said was that make them human-like. They're no more human-like than they are ape-like, what you would call ape-like, because they're transitional forms. They have basal characteristics, and then they have modern characteristics as well, right? That's they're by the Australopithecus bipedal, and then you've got the Valgus, the Raven Magnum, right? There are many features of those specimens that makes us know that they were bipedal. Yet they had ape-like characteristics. That's how we know that they're transitional forms. They're refusing to engage with the actual data, and you're just saying, oh, it's all fraudulent. You're just lying. Again, I mean, why are we shocked? Why are we surprised that you're just lying? You're just lying.
I feel like a big monkey and a hat. I'd say that this was a creature that was a hologram.
Yeah, it's totally what scientists do.
Some they say, actually, no, that's not. Trias actually has an ape-like brain. If you move to the Homo erectus, same thing. Ape-like bones, right? Move on to the Homo erectus. Or erectus, it's the same thing. The link here talks about syncing the Homo erectus. It's more research showing how the Homo erectus syncing. You know, because it's from there, right there.
More data samples, the
They're making buds about it.
I'm not going to understand about research that I'm going to do. So, what are the links then? Show us what the links said. Or you're not going to show it.
Evidence. It's thinking. There is no evidence for the Homo erectus.
What do you mean there's no evidence for Homo erectus? We have hundreds of specimens of Homo erectus, and Homo habilis, and Homo neanderthalensis, and prior to Homo, right? Australopithecus. Like, we have so many specimens, and you're just pretending that they don't exist. That's how.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Homo sapiens street. It's not really Homo erectus, actually. Okay, right. Look at another research. Actually, let's open that's for life science. I want to read some of the phrases that they have. And I want everyone to
more data samples, the better.
I'm going to present you a lot of things, but what I want to do is this. I don't want to give anyone excuses later on.
So this is a day in the life of the traveler. I'm learning more about you all the time.
It's a crazy amount of lies, a crazy amount of what they claim to be the evidence, how they themselves admit that it's not evidence for anything. And they still come to you trying to convince you that this is total accepted fact. Okay?
Who is they? Who is they? You use the word they over and over again. So, okay. So, they are coming to you telling you that evolution is false. Well, they...
Whirling snow! Access denied! Shower me with praise! Oh no! This is long overdue. No touching. Take flight. Yeah. Let my name echo in song. Kamisato art. Sumetsu. Whirling snow. Yeah. Blaze over. Access denied. Come on, we can do it. Time to shine. No touching. My apologies. Sakura swirl. Access denied. Let the show begin. Yes.
Okay. False information. However, the information is female.
False information. Did I say so?
All the populations are active. Right? After I think the new stuff, okay? Scientists also do not agree. Our Homo erectus director, I can go on and on.
The blade is like a tea
I'm
leaf.
sure that you can go
Only
on
those
and
who
on
sample
and
it many times can appreciate it.
You're looking at the conversation occurring amongst anthropologists who are debating what the precise lineage is of hominin species and which fossil remains contribute to which populations among
Let's
those
dance.
hominin species.
All hail.
And you're pretending that internal
Strike a
dialogue
pose. Let my name echo in song.
somehow
Whirling
invalidates
snow. Kamisato art. Sumetsu.
That's insane. Right? Hey, these conversations among professionals who all unanimously agree
Yeah. Time to shine. Ready, steady, go.
somehow invalidates
Let
the
the show
entire
begin.
course of their work for the entire field of anthropology. And the way that you do that, is just like kind of quickly reading pages and giggling and moving on really quickly because you know that you don't even understand what you're reading. And this isn't even primary scientific literature. This is just like some article, and you're just like, I have no idea what that says, but that's silly.
If they don't want that to be in the first stage, because if that is the first stage, what you see is just further confusion upon further confusion. Okay? So let's close this. Save this for back to the section. I'm sure look, people have heard these things. This is what atheists come up with talking to you about. They assume they exist. I've seen you talking to many.
Let's get this interview started.
Mentioning these names to you as if they're fact.
They are facts. It's not an assumption. We have hundreds of specimens of these species. Deal with the data. Right? Like, what are you? You're just pretending that
It's been a
these
while since I've
specimens don't
limbered up.
exist. It's a fantasy you're living out. You're just saying to the entire field of anthropology. It's what flat earthers do to physics and astronomy. You're as dumb as flat earthers. That's what you're doing right now.
I don't know. You actually don't know that. And you've actually done that. Okay, but this is what your nature magazines are saying. This is what your own research is saying. Okay? Now, the Homo, I'm not going to even mention the name. I'm going to bother. The last one. It's called the demise of that. What they whatever.
I just like the way that you shirk the fact that you can't pronounce these things. Homo neanderthalensis. Like, why you're pretending to understand anthropology better than anthropologists, and you can't pronounce Homo neanderthalensis. That's pathetic.
That species is called. It's the demise of it. It's the research here. Showing how it is demise. It is 151 research reviewed. Put in that research that I'm putting to you. Showing you how that is, it's the demise now of this idea of the existence of the Homo neanderthalensis, etc.
I guarantee you that's not what it's saying. I don't know what showing 151 means. This is just something that he wrote. I don't, and we're not going to find out because he's not even going to click on the link. So I guarantee you that whatever that link says does not prove that Homo neanderthalensis didn't exist, because it did. We're just not going to know what that means or what it says, because he's not going to actually engage with it at all.
Point is this: if you go to any university, they are teaching you these things are facts.
Yeah.
They're not teaching you that these things are contested. They're confusing. They're actually, these are not bones of humans. They're actually bones of.
They're not bones of humans. They're bones of other species, and they're not contested, and they are facts. I don't know what else to tell you. You're pretending that You're pretending that Homo erectus is supposed to be humans. What are you talking about? These are ancestral species. You have so little ability it's just breathtaking. It's breathtaking to listen to you fumble your way through lying about things, about science that you won't even show as you're talking about it. It's bananas.
They're not actually what we used to say to you. It's not actually true. All of these fictional drawings and movies that they make, literally movies, right? It's a movie about Lucy, the baboon skin. Now it's a whole movie about it, showing you how she used to live and what she used to do, and all of that.
Yeah, when we look at the morphology of Australopithecus afarensis, we know about its mobility, right? This is what trained professionals can do. They can look at bones, and they can look at joints, and they can look at how the bones lock together, and they can know that it's bipedal. They can know about that how it is a mosaic of arboreal and bipedal traits. They can know based on its morphology what it does. Right? This is what scientists can do because they're smart and trained. Neither of which you are. So that's why you can't do that. What is it? I'm sorry, there's a car alarm going off. Hopefully it all stops.
It's coming from an ape brain. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm a collection of different fossils from different animals from different things. Now, these fictional characters, why am I calling them fictional characters? Because they literally are. I'm not going to construct.
No, they literally are not fictional characters. We have hundreds upon hundreds of specimens of these species. They exist. You want them to be fictional because that levels the playing field with the fictional characters that you worship.
Constructing a human tooth that later on found out it's a big tooth. And you have this fictional character.
Wish me luck.
And even children, they have less imagination than this, to be honest, Even DC movies and all that, they are more plausible than these things that they're putting forward, to be honest. They're more plausible, okay? Let's move on. Now we have something called vestigial organs. What is vestigial organs? Vestigial organs, and I want to say something important here. Vestigial organs is the claim that there are organs that are useless. They're not useful for survival and reproduction. They're not useful for that animal because they're left over for previous ancestors. Like for example, if me, I had a tail, for example.
Okay, just to preemptively, because I know what he's going to do here, not necessarily useless, just not used for what the ancestral species used it for. So for an ancestral species, it had this particular function. Because it's vestigial, doesn't any longer perform that function. It may have evolved to perform some other ancillary function. That doesn't mean it's not vestigial.
The tail is not helping me survive and reproduction, but actually it's coming from previous ancestors. That's why it's still there. So that is the claim. Now, the first thing I want to put forward, and it's a very important thing to look at when it comes to this idea of vestigial organ, it is based on circular reasoning. Why is it based on circular reasoning? Now, that's very important to look at now. Because they claim these organs are vestigial, they're useless. Why? Because evolution is true. And evolution says that all organs must be used for survival and reproduction. Because evolution is true, the vestigial organ. And because the vestigial organ, the evidence that evolution is true.
It's not circular at all. We compare, we look at what ancestral species use the organ for, and then we recognize that function no longer persists in extant life. There's nothing circular about it.
This works.
You don't understand what
Pluto's already so strong anyways. We can get away with not using the Canyon Punch team.
Literally. They say vestigial organs are evidence for evolution. I'm not making this claim. They make this claim. Let's read it here. Why evolution is true, right? By Jerry Ecoy. Right? He has it on page 60. What does he say? He says, we humans have vestigial features proving that we evolved. The most famous is the appendix, right? Which, by the way, I just put the research in 2018 showing how this is very useful. In fact, there's a research under saying how appendix could save your life. How it actually saves you from certain diseases that will kill you. But the point is that this is circular reasoning. They're claiming the vestigial because evolution is true, and then vestigial the point proving evolution is true. How are we not challenging this nonsense?
I'll take care of it.
Allowing this nonsense to go by, you know? Okay. So that's the first thing I want to say. This is secular reason, okay? Now, the claim that they make is also
Miss
lies.
me.
Like the appendix.
One is fast on one's feet.
Another claim
Try
is
to
that
keep pace.
If I
It's not,
tried,
look, you're running right past the appendix because you don't know what the appendix does, and you don't know what the appendix is to do. Right? The appendix is an evolutionary remnant from ancestral species. It's a like they're herbivorous species that they needed to digest like bark and like that was what the purpose of the appendix served. It no longer serves that purpose. Now, yes, there definitely is research that shows that like the appendix plays a role in the microbiota and things like that. That's not that shocking from an evolutionary standpoint. You have this vestigial remnant, it still exists, right? That doesn't mean that it can't serve any evolutionary purpose moving forward. It's just that it no longer serves the purpose that it used to. That's what vestigial means. It doesn't mean literally useless. It means it does not serve the purpose it once did.
We'll see about that.
Showing you how super useful for the human eye. Then you got someone like Richard Dawkins in his book, The Flying Watchmakers, claiming it's useless as evidence for evolution. This is a vestigial organ, according to them. Okay?
Dare to mess
Got the well-built bodies. And I want to say something very important. Got research done. See that link that I put? Got research 100 years ago. Saying the
Echoing song.
then we have a book today by Oliver Knowledge University. 2017 edition still has that.
Coming out to art. So
Now my question is, can you please tell me? I already mentioned one example of it, right? But can you please tell me, have they missed even that research are putting now that they're quoting that this is from 1,550 after years.
Here's the
1,150, 100, 1,050, 100 years. Just pretending that modern biologists don't know
ordered it wrong again.
150 years ago. That's what you're doing. Whales in particular, talking about the pelvic bones of whales. Okay, there's like the way that whale mating. Okay, they serve a purpose. It doesn't matter, right? You're talking about look. What is the purpose of the pelvis in terrestrial mammals? You're talking about primates. What is the purpose of the pelvis in most mammals? What is the function of the pelvis? It does not serve that function. That is found ancillary function.
Smile.
Is absolutely not relevant.
Truth repeats its course. Too late for Let my name echo in song. Break it out. Take flight. Sakura swirl. Yeah, my apologies.
Right? But then some aspect of it invades. That is absolutely irremovably vestigial. And just because there's some ancillary function doesn't mean that it's not vestigial. It does not any longer serve. Right? Why do snakes have the remnants of features from animals that had legs? They don't have legs. Right? So why do they have those features? It doesn't matter that they now serve some function. Right? It is still vestigial. That's what vestigial means.
Years ago, are you telling me those professors in universities are supposed to be editing these books, teaching them to students? You do not know that there is 150 years ago research showing how these pelvic bones are actually useful for mating or for the males. Therefore, they're no longer, as they claim, vestigial organs. 2017, this book is being taught in university. We've got someone like Richard Dawkins, he's claiming all of this is evidence for it. We've got Stephen Jay Gould, they say the same thing. All the people that you see, you hear the biggest names or propagating illusions. The books, these are the things they're using. Let's start not really use something from
Vestigial absolute evidence that defies the concept of design because why would something be designed to include features that do not serve the function that serve ancestral species that absolutely demonstrates how evolution works. We're talking about
Please remain
absolutely
seated.
complying with evolutionary predictions.
Whirling snow. Yeah. Say cheese. Shower me with bread. My apologies. Take flight. I have. My apologies.
Open this link here. So many links for me. That's not. I don't want to keep this. Why not?
But I compile and look at links. It's the facade of and look at all these links of science. They don't say anything that I pretend I'm saying, and I won't even show you what they say. So they don't say what I pretend I'm saying.
I want to be honest, this is not an in-depth research that I look for.
You don't.
I organized this principle recently. You just told me that most people come on. I literally organized all of this today. A few hours ago. Literally.
You are lying. Lying. You've been compiled this.
You want me to go and in-depth research on that amount of lies that these people put forward? I can do that. Well, why? This is just a few hours today. Well, why I love this today? I'm going to show you what you want this information. This is not in-depth research. This is a basic service level 20. Okay? Oh, yeah, actually, interesting. I want to show what they say. Listen. Okay? You see, Claire Birch is one of the guys. You study, look, we said 150 years ago there is information about this. You study that that's a wrong accepted evolutionary assumption on itself. So they say, listen sister, so now what I'm saying.
What assumption? What assumption are they talking about? Do you know? I bet you don't. So why are you talking about it? Why are you giggling like you know the assumption that has been turned on its head? As though somehow it validates evolution as a whole. Because it doesn't. So what are you talking about?
What they're saying in their magazines is saying they're disturbing this evolutionary assumption. Why 150 years ago? I'm telling you, this information has been already.
God, I fucking hate underwater exploration.
The actual professors, they know this nonsense. Okay?
It's so blatantly obvious that this is all you have. This cherry-picking phrases that you think support a denial of evolutionary principles when they objectively don't. Anyone who understands anything about biology knows that we're just talking about ways in which we're enhancing our understanding of evolutionary biology, and you're pretending that that process validates evolution as a whole. Because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Now, we've got an example of snakes, pythons. Got a book, Essentials of Biology. Again, Taunton University. 18th edition. The research paper showing how the involved inhabitants are actually books for finding them by the pythons. And they will explain it to you today.
Books? What are you talking about? Books? That's
Sounds different. And then books. But you learn in university, probably some people watching this, they might be learning in university. And you go to the page of Vestigial Origins and you will see these things I'm telling you about in these books. 2018. 50 years ago there is a research debunking, 40 years ago there is a research debunking that, but it's still lying. 2018 in their books, claiming that, you know what, Vestigial Origins, you got penguin wings, you've got the ostrich wings, I can go on and on and on. Point is, as I said, I just collected some of them. I don't want to go into extensive detail.
you don't want to go into literally any detail, well, click on the links to see what's extensive detail. You have no clue what any of this research is saying. You pile a list of links for no reason. You appear diligent, have absolutely no any of these things are saying.
Point is, anything that they would claim to is listed in the CJ law. There's no function for it. There's research. There is function for it, but they will lie. It's endless. Like I just showed you, Jerry Coyne. Just claim to the famous. This is the most famous.
Whoa.
He's claiming it's the famous that people are sharing that this is useless. We've already got research showing you that. Let's say you're lying.
Not saying it's useless, and it's still vestige.
So by the own nature magazines. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Now we've got something here called homology, right? I'll read some about homology but okay, what is the idea of homology? Homology is the idea that the similarities between features and anatomy are due to one.
What the fuck was that for?
No, I'm bringing you what they say in the books. Genus which is the Biology 2018 edition, page 242. Okay, the unity of anatomy is evidence of.
Alright, I think it's back.
Say that in the book.
We had a blackout for 10 seconds. Maybe it's the karaoke people.
Recent things. I'm not claiming something about that. As a centric gap. Okay. So that means what? More similar the features are. Those are the are protection. I'm correct. I'm standing correct. Doesn't that mean that most of the art looks based on this approach? You would be by the yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. You were in a flow and I didn't want to stop you, but yeah, because you know when you get going.
Absolutely. I appreciate that a lot.
I mean, what you're saying so far is the concisest way to explain these points, because the deeper you get, it can actually get more confusing. But that's the crux of it, what you just explained.
Okay.
So I'm sure it's very confusing when you don't understand high school level biology.
Okay, inshallah. Okay, let's move on to the next point. Okay. Okay, so here what do we have? Can you spell these two, because it's easier for me to say Mashimiyat and Jeromiyat. You can spell the two on the top.
Yeah, so marsupials and placentals.
Can you explain to the people the difference between the two?
Okay, so there are two different types of mammals here, and these are geographically distinct, right? You get some in remote parts of the world which are have similarities in terms of the traits, and they're trying to just untrained eye to say these two creatures are related. It's actually according to.
And he was asked to define marsupials don't have placentas. That's kind of what the first thing he said.
several attributes of an ancestry. That thought smashes this idea that similarity doesn't come of itself. You have to remember, everything back to concepts. So if similarities are that differences must be separate ancestry, then that means that similarities that are found by non-human couples, and that undermines the entire system.
No, it doesn't at all, actually. Right? There are similarities. Version evolution is the thing. Right? There are superficial similarities. Like, for example, eyes have evolved like at different times in the animal. Apes have evolved separately. In insects first, and then birds, and then in mammals like bats, and things like that. There are similar evolutionary pressures that similar features, similar anatomical features. And it's not always a direct indication of ancestry. Right? Obviously, everything is related to how far back in very recent common ancestry. We're talking about similar environmental stimuli producing similar features, right? But we have other ways of doing things, genomic analysis, where we're not just looking at like, oh, these things look kind of the same, so they're the same. That's why in biology it's a constant flux, right? That's why within each phylum we're always around the taxa within, because new studies we're figuring out that this was used to be its own phylum, but it actually needs to be branched under this thing. We're constantly moving these things around because you can't just go, oh, they look similar, so they're cousins, right? It's very complicated. All of this is lost on this too, I'm sure.
This is something I funnily enough had to yesterday describe because they don't tell us about the assumptions that they start off with assumptions, whatever you do, and then you release them on those assumptions. So a lot of examples that you actually give, examples of going to highlight assumptions that they have while you're going to, like, they've never had examples of changing the current writing.
Absolutely. And the basic difference between classifications, for example, kangaroos, they have the baby still holding it in the sack, and then it still feeds and comes back and it's making it come out. But the animals will give birth, and the animal will be able to go by itself after the birth is given, right? There's a difference between these two types of animals. And they look the same now. The same book that I call technology edited by Clifford Johnson in the previous page. That's said to us here. These homologous structures, they are evidence for common. The same book is giving you an image of atoms that look exactly the same. Like it claims that they're not common.
They don't look exactly the same. What are you talking about? What does the book say? I don't even know.
You get contradictions, can reading this book. I don't know. Just reading them. And then I'll realizing, oh man, previous page of every book. Or they look similar. The more evidence are more picture here later on, look exactly the same where you are. Not actually what said, but you got all of this picture that here, the picture is like showing you why they separate. So that according to them, like,
Yeah, no, just want to add to that the same problem is highlighted exists and perspective. Its sequences just so similar.
no, I have prepared for them. So, okay, moving on now. First, listen to us one. That is arguing the point. He gave them an example of homology doesn't lie. And this is what most laymen in quotes say before. That's what the guy saying to you. For different common descent. That's what laymen think. That's evidence, right? Okay. They say to us scenarios that for example, moving on now. The scenarios are useful. And then it's research for nature. Showing you how they separated 160 million years ago those types of animals. And then they're not separated. They separated a long time ago. Okay. So the question is, why are they homologous? They can't find an explanation, so they make up a new thing called evolution. Not a solution now. The answer to that question It's actually it's not because it doesn't. For some animals, because of the environment, what are all of them like other even though they are necessary. Which one is it?
Which one is it? Like, what are you not getting? Like, there are adaptations that are valuable, and they continue to be valuable whenever, like, flight is a valuable adaptation. If organisms can figure out a way to fly, that is valuable, and then that will be selected by natural selection. So it's not that surprising that insects and then birds and mammals like bats and squirrels are over here. They're more gliding, they're not flying. It's not that weird that these things would evolve multiple times, just like eyes evolve multiple times. We're looking at valuable features. Right? Why is it so surprising that these could evolve separate times? It's not that weird. So, convergent evolution, homology, these are completely different concepts, both of which are evidence for evolution, by the way. Using them in order to try to invalidate both of them at once, and it's not working.
That is you comment. Our animals, based on their environment, look at the same as other animals because their environment shaped. It's like, okay, that's it. So, some animals are like this, some animals are like that. So, we found this problem, so now we're going to make this new. And we're going to make the conclusion. There you go. So, we move on. Take a look, okay. What about the bats and whales? Homologous and outside structure. And they are from different environment. Illusion, according to what you said, because it's the environment or structure that they are both illusion. Why are they similar according to your own? Is it this similar? Why are they similar? Why do they have this echolocation system, both of them functioning the same way? These two different things. One is a land animal, one is a sea animal.
Why did echolocation evolve more than once? Why did flight evolve more than once? Why did vision evolve more than once? Because these are valuable adaptations. It's not that weird. All we're doing is showing that life is
Ad
consistently
Astra.
adapting to find new features in order to be able to take advantage of some
Ad Astra.
environmental niche.
Thank you for
some
complete.
unique aspect that it can with which it can proliferate. But that's all it is. It's not that weird that functions could evolve to take advantage to develop new senses or to develop new features. This is what evolution does. Right? Why would we expect that life figured out flight once? If it figured out flight once, why wouldn't it figure out flight more than once? Why wouldn't it figure out other times? And in fact, it did. Again, insects, birds, mammals. So it's like, just what are you not getting? What do you not understand?
Can you explain this to me? Can you give us an explanation of how to
Ah, it really is built for hotel.
do this? Things they said, oh yeah, there is actually a new type of convergent evolution that you find in this picture that we see down here. But actually you can get these type of similarities between animals, even though they're not environment, and even though they're not homologous in their shapes. So, how long are you going to be moving the goalpost here?
It's not moving the goalposts. You just don't get it.
Goalpost in your own. I don't know what you're going to do with the goalpost anymore. Right? And we ask the question, why are animals similar to bats? Living in similar environments, not develop that ecosystem.
Why are animals similar to bats? What?
Why is it only the whales that do that? But the animals that live around the same environments as the bats, and they are similar to it, did not develop that same echolocation system. Now, why this? Can you explain that to us?
Because there's an element of random chance in evolution. This is like the big woman, and he goes, why? He goes, why didn't rabbits grow wings? He said this to my face. Why didn't rabbits grow? Because they fit their environmental niche. What do you mean? Why they were like evolution isn't a magic wizard where you get magic powers. You open up a chest and you go, I develop flight. It's limited by biology. Right? Biology has to stumble upon these things. Right? As valuable as echolocation or flight or any of these things are, it's not that nature is sentient and can just decide to develop them. It has to wait for a random chance to stumble upon them. And once something happens, and it only takes a little bit, right, in terms of eyesight, all you need is a couple of photoreceptor cells, a bundle of photoreceptive cells. Right? That's all it is, something that can a little more like there and a little less like there. That's it, and that's already something upon which selective pressure can operate. And then more complex structures can evolve around that. You know, a lens and a cornea, like that happens over many years. It's sophisticated ocular structures, but it starts with photoreceptive cells. Same with echolocation. I don't know how echolocation works off the top of my head. I don't know what structures are involved in echolocation, but it can start with something very simple and then become more complex over time. And there's no reason to think that that should evolve once. It can evolve multiple times. It is a useful adaptation.
So what we see is what? They keep contradicting themselves every 2 seconds, right? Okay. That's not it. Okay. It's more what? That's something that we call the synchronization. Synchronization is very why? Not just
Crumble apart! Your grand finale!
one fish, one
Disruptive code! Scatter! Leave it all to me. Time to clean up.
Suffocate.
One fish, just as many species. It's one species and then produce as many.
Strike is one, and step. Next up.
different link in a different one. 2 minutes ago, you're telling me something called progression that can explain 2 animals that look similar in this time. What?
Take flight. Yoo-hoo! Time to shine. Blaze over. Born of icy. Come on now. Away I go. Coming Saturat. Surrender. My apologies.
Trying to survive before it happens.
Okay, what features do you want us to explain? Name an anatomical feature. Name something that is so unbelievable that it can't be reproduced. I see a bunch of fish, right? So you're talking about fish that are superficially
Observe. Break a leg.
fish in different environments.
Crumble apart. Starfall. I am the cutting edge of fashion. As a good night should.
That you find absolutely impossible to accept a rise twice by two. You're not doing it, you're showing a picture of fish. What about the fish?
How can you explain this?
Another test subject.
Listen, you name it.
Your grand finale. Unleash. Ha! Starfall. Delicate as silk. Time to clean up.
Is it used not just gravity, mind and reflection? And research are looking to
Break a leg.
The wrong test subject.
the selection works rather than selection.
The wrong test subject.
Spread over any physical possibility. Right?
Strike up. I can fix this. Access denied. Let my name echo in song. Yakaki. Ninjutsu. For Rex Lapis. Embrace the ice.
The wrong test subject.
Yeah. No touching.
Try.
Yeah. Take flight. Ha. Yeah. Yeah. And away I go.
Anyhow, I'll come with I said it's real now. Okay.
Yeah, I have the same impression.
Okay, moving on. They have something called random mutation. It means that mutations are random. This is a whole list here of research showing you how mutations are random.
Crumble apart. Drop. Observe. I must leave no stone unturned, as a dutiful maid would. Strike is one, and step. Ah! Dodge! I am the cutting edge of fashion. Next up. As a good knight should. Crumble apart! Your grand finale and step. Leave it all to me.
Holy hell. You pulled up the length for 4 seconds. Again,
Pay your dues.
Born of ice and frost, all hail! Time to shine! Come on out! Kamisato art! Sometsu!
Scream again. You study, yeah? 2001? 2022. By Harvey. 2022. You study Bruce Press and the Clay Press, but we're going to put that down next time. I just showed you a research report that I'm showing opposite to that. First evidence of non-random DNA. It's not a preface. This is the mind of the This is really just decent research, yeah, last year. Right. Just in there, but what else? Let me show you.
just you don't even have to look any further than how, like, the percentage of the links that he actually shows and how rapid he has no clue what they say. Non-random mutations. What are they? What do you? I mean, you don't even know what mutations are in general. I don't think you know what DNA is. I don't think you know anything about genetics whatsoever. I think you have below a 9th grade understanding of genetics. What are non-random mutations? What are you even talking about? What is a mutation? So obviously, I don't know too much about it, but what are we talking about? We're presumably it's some kind of epigenetic feature, right? Maybe a gene is guarded because it's coordinated to a histone or something like that. Something that statistically, preferentially, a certain region of the genome is more predisposed towards mutation than another, something like that. It doesn't mean that random mutation is the thing. You're not even... What does it say? That wasn't even primary scientific literature, and you're still not looking at it. You won't even read a single sentence from it because you have no ability to talk about it. You don't know what mutations are, you don't know what DNA is. It's just ridiculous.
Show you this. By the way, the same research that I just showed you is the research of the fish, single fish. The same research will say to you that your variation is not random. They will claim to you in Australia, I already told you it's guided. Not random. It's not blind natural selection. All of it is guided. It's not random. Okay?
How? Explain how. Explain the difference. Mechanistically.
Boba, get them! Eat this! Have fun with this gift! Got it! Enhanced Animal Module 75, Animal Test 6308. Absorption test. Too late for us. Out of the frying pan, into the fire. Your ears of the storm.
Everybody stand back! Let's light it up!
This was well done.
Stand clear. Huh? Dare to mess with me?
You need to hurry up. This was well done.
Absorption test.
I'm sorry, I can't let
Shower me with praise. Let my name echo into Got a dash.
Ring cutter! Know my sword!
Time for a light show. Order, please.
Many scientists understand art perfectly well. I myself am an artist. Also, I find the call to prayer very good. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It doesn't mean anything that you morons believe is true. There's no correlation between scientific thinking and appreciate art. Just trying to dehumanize.
Nice and spicy. Eat this. Have fun with this gift.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Squirrel, Mark 2, Animal Test 6308. Absorption test. Don't break my glasses. Activate into the box.
Truth repeats its course.
You're toast.
Everybody stand back.
Stand clear. Animal hypostasis emulate. Absorption test. Nice and spicy.
Let's light it up.
Stand clear.
So let's see how much they talk. Professor Oxford University is challenging the to accept that is noble of my understanding.
Yoo-hoo! Let the world collide! Rain outlines your fate. Let me read you a verse. No, my...
I'm out here. Come on out.
Shower me with praise! Let my name echo in some... Witness the power of Gugwa! Know my sword!
I want to say one thing something very important. It's still religion. That's what I want to keep in mind. We're not bringing you again. I said to you, I'm not going to bring you creations, yeah? So we're going to go and see you. So what's that going to be? He said that also university told him he invented certain things, right?
Your journey ends here, Lord of Sand. Your sacrifice is ready.
Ears of the storm! Wretched dastard!
Squirrel, Mark 2, absorption test. Animal test 63. We'll see about that. Nice and spicy.
I'm going in!
Too late for regrets. Have fun with this gift.
The golden slumber.
I want everyone to confirm the voice and you can hear the voice, okay? Okay, so this is an international voice. You can do that.
Let me read you a verse.
Let the world collide. Hey. Feels as like
Okay, just wait a minute. Okay. See what he says? Okay, he says what? All research. This is not a guy that is gonna come out and say something and people are gonna allow him to say. Keep that in mind. He's saying all the research, yeah, we're telling you about very well, yeah. We all have matters.
The sheer amount of giggling is a mask for how little understands what this guy's saying. And as much of a clown as Dennis Noble is, he doesn't deny evolution. These guys are referencing this guy in order to pretend that evolution isn't real, whereas he doesn't even propose that. Right? So they don't know what non-random mutation is, right? Obviously, there are elements of that are completely random, right? When you have errors in DNA replication, it's completely random. Where there are bases where substitutions occur, things like that. That's random. Where you have exogenous mutants, when you have radioactive nuclides within the body of an organism that emit high energy, it's completely random where those particles strike in the genome and cause mutation. And those are so there are other aspects in terms of
To the spotlight! Witness the power of Gugwa! Rain outlines your hard-hitting it! Embrace the ice! Yeah! Whirling snow! Yeah! Yeah! Body in the rain cutter! Over here! Smile! Breaking new! Let the magic begin! My apologies! Sakura swirl! Time to let me weave you a verse. And outlines your... Hold that pose! Take flight! Be amazed! Embrace the ice! Whirling snow!
Any idea called rapid efficiency?
Yeah.
So, there's no such thing.
I guess that's gospel, right? There's one guy who says that like I think 400,000.
My apologies! Rain cutter! No, my sword! Breaking new! Smile! Let the magic begin! Sakura swirl! Take flight!
One of them is from life science, couple of them from nature. So all of them are supportive. Okay.
And what do they say? I guess we'll never know.
Game's up. Time's over. Quietly now. Let my name echo in song! Shout ah! Skyward! Stray cloud converge! Time to go!
That's how
Strike a pose! Busted! Gotcha! Here comes the catch! Let the world collide! Skyward! Scatter! Make way for the attack!
Microbial intelligence, you are smart.
Where's microbial intelligence?
Microbes are intelligent and they know how to have these mutations. Mutations happen because microbes are smart. Other intelligence, by nature is bacteria. Bacteria is intelligent. That's how it's done.
Why do you compile these links?
Witness the power of Gugwa! Rain outlines your fate! Hold that pose! Step on up! Kamisato art! Sometsu! Whirling snow! Cue the spotlight! Say cheese! Hard hitting it? Rain cutter! Over here! Be amazed! Take flight! My apologies! Breaking news! Hold that pose! Rain outlines your fate. Witness it. Surprise! Sakura swirl! Over here! Say cheese! Oh, my camera! Time to act. Take flight!
I want you to wait.
Can I just say something? I just want to
Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey. Busted. Gotcha. Yoo-hoo!
Let my name echo in sun.
Game's up. Fun is over. Yeah! Skyward! Stray clouds converge!
Disparate forms.
Higher, higher, hands on fire.
Busted.
Shower me with praise. Time to shine.
Here comes the catch. Yeah! Skyward! Seize the skies!
Even if the similarity was closer than 98.8%, it would make no difference to the claim between the chimp ancestry being true or it actually being false. You need the background information to do that. So just as the upshot, what I'm saying is similarities simply mean similarities. They don't.
What can you say that?
Let the magic begin.
Gibberish. I mean, you know,
Hidden
it's
exclusive.
Let me read your
genetic
verdict.
similarity
No, my
is evidence of ancestry. That's how
Coming shot to all.
that's
Silencer.
you figure out paternity based on genetic similarity.
Yeah.
And then that goes on and on and on for generations in the past. What are you talking about?
Hold that pose. There's still news to report.
Body and Ring cutter. Surprise! Take flight.
We don't want to go into ridiculous metaphor that's a ridiculous example of that is insane and doesn't prove anything. We don't want to iPhones, the thing that we invented, somehow something to do with biological evolution.
Yes, let's go to the genes now. Let's talk about it. Okay. So, in that research, why is that research highly problematic? Or sorry, why is the conclusion highly problematic? We'll go into details now. First, you can open a book. It's called Bioinformatics and Functional Genomics. This is what is taught in universities. Right? I'm not bringing you my own thing. This is what is taught in universities. You go to the third edition. You go to the third chapter. Introduction. Someone says, I'm making this up, I'm giving you the reference, okay? They say that two genes or proteins are homologous if they evolve from a common ancestor. So they say that they are homologous if we accept the assumption that they evolve from a common ancestor. That's what the book is saying. Okay? Now, when you go under the same book, there's a section called scoring metrics. Scoring metrics. The scoring metrics that they use in those studies. They say most database searching methods, such as BLAST, HMMER, there's many differences. Depend in some form on the evolutionary insight of the day of model. So they're saying to you, the systems that they're using to look for those similarities already assumes the evolution is true. Already assumes you and the chimpanzee are from common ancestors. Already assumes that your genes are homologous. They don't do research. Already assumes. Most from human and chimpanzee are homologous. We consider them homologous. Two, humans and chimpanzees are homologous. They are from common ancestors. It's
Evolution is true, and it's definitely we observe evolution happening, so we understand how genomes evolve over time. So this is a model within which we prepare genomic analysis. And so, but I think the funnest part of all this is that you said most database searching methods such as BLAST, HMMER, have been some form of the evolutionary insights they have model. I don't know what any of those are, so definitely don't. You don't know what it is. I mean, you don't even know what DNA is, being honest. So it's very funny to me how you're acting as though you understand what that methodology is. You're trying to extrapolate that into some kind of assumption or circular reasoning. There's no assumption. We understand DNA. We understand genomics, we understand evolutionary principles, we observe how genomes evolve over time, and so that is what we do genomic analysis. There's no assumption being made from an ancestry, you just understand how DNA works. That's how we do this.
The same idea of the second piece inside.
Game's up. Fun is
this is a bit confusing, but I was explaining when I went to the place that you know that.
Stray cloud converge.
It's all under assumption. So the evidence already assumed they became 40.
Time to go.
Come to the conclusion that it's true or not. They already assume it's true, and they use the methods that assumes it's true.
Busted. Quietly now.
There's a point out there.
Good things are about to get psyched.
But mine ain't echoing strong. Yup. Skyward.
Literally 1,000
Make way for the...
See?
Now within
I'm sorry, there's just so much there. There's just like, if you could choose one sentence to demonstrate that there's no clue what he's talking about. He said 3 billion genes out of 3 billion genes. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. There's no organism that has millions or billions of genes. That means he's talking about base pairs. What was the other thing? I'm sorry, go back 1 second. What was it?
first, they use 3 million genes out of 3 billion. So literally 1 out of 1,000 genetic codes only with that.
1 out of 1,000 genetic codes. What are you talking about? 1,000 genetic codes? What are genetic codes? Plural. What do you? Oh my God! You don't know what DNA is. You don't know what DNA is. It's unbelievable.
From the speed
Now
of
within
DreamWorks.
1 out of 1,000, that research that they use, they found 28% differences and 6% differences.
I am the cutting edge of
Which is
fashion.
actually 35%. If we were to say that 65%, it's what 65% is in the faculties now.
Hey there! Super Send-Up! From the Spina with Flow.
3 billion out of 3 billion.
I'm going in!
The genetic codes. First, they ignore 3 billion out of the genetic codes.
I don't know what these numbers are. You're pulling them out of your ass. They're not from any particular study.
Coming at ya!
Humans and chimps are 98.8% of people. These numbers are meaningless. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Why the majority of the genes? Number 1. Number 2, they're excluding that much.
Time to shine!
20%.
Here
And
comes
they say
the
in the same study, why they exclude
Busted.
it? They say when you exclude it, there was a rise.
Scatter. Seize the sky.
And you bring that to the
What do you... excluding... What the hell are you talking about? These are genomic...
Game's up.
Comparative genomics.
But my name
Taking the
echoing
entire
strong.
genome of a species and the entire genome of another species and assessing the
Make way
percentage
for the-
similarity. Now, there's nothing excluded. It's the entire genome of one species and then the entire genome of another species. All of the genetic information compared with all of the genetic information. There's nothing excluded. What are you talking about?
Equality, 98.8. And now they do this beautiful, very beautiful, nice things that they call it deletion, substitution, substitution, and
Super
insertion.
Send-Up! From the
And
Spina with Flow.
it's between 1 to 65.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Okay, sorry. They this thing, deletion, what are you talking? Deletion, substitution, insertion. These are types of genetic, these are types of mutations
From the Spina to the
that occur in
Hey
nature. Deletion, substitution, insertion.
Everybody stand back!
Deletion, a base pair is needed. Substitution, change, a base pair. Insertion, a base pair is inserted. Substitution, insertion, change, a reading frame. Substitution is
I am
just
the
changing
cutting edge of
a base
fashion.
pair. This is what happens later. They do. They do.
With
That's
coming at ya! Teamwork is
Deletion,
dreamwork!
substitution, and insertion. And I would expect more deletion, substitution, and insertion is going to go.
I bet you won't.
Okay. And I want to say something. I want to make a very important point. Here, the research I put in Scientific American, just
praise.
illustrated in jump DNA. Right? We used to have this student believe that there is something called jump DNA and
Quietly
space
now.
and all of that.
Here comes the couch.
And the
Let the world
and all types of genes are used
Scatter.
for
Skyward.
All types of genes are, of course, genes are useful. They're protein coding.
Higher, higher, for fire!
Junk DNA is non-protein coding. We're talking about
Things are about
parts
to
of
get
DNA
dicey.
that are not
Time to shine!
genes. First of all, all
Scatter. Skyward.
all
Stray
creatures.
cloud converge.
It's this thing where, like, what percentage of the genome are genes? It's like 1%.
I forget the exact number. It's like 1% something. But it's such a small amount is actual genes. The vast majority of it is not genes. And so, yes, it's true, over time, we figured out that certain percentages of the DNA that are not within a gene serve a function in terms of regulation of gene
my
expression
Samian
and
team
these
is
other
still
kinds of
useless
things. It
though.
doesn't mean that there's no junk DNA. There's tons of junk DNA. Some of what was previously dubbed junk DNA has been found to serve a particular purpose as a promoter or whatever, all of these other things. There's parts of DNA that are not genes that serve a purpose in gene expression. That doesn't mean that there's not junk DNA. There's tons
I can
of
try
junk
again,
DNA,
I guess.
which of course makes perfect sense in the context of evolution, because you have this very, very, very long genome, many different chromosomes, lots of base pairs, within which certain protein coding regions evolve by chance, right? That makes absolutely no sense in design. Why would design do that? Why would design have 1% of the genome be coding for proteins? What is the purpose of all this junk DNA? But they always do this. They take this thing where, there's some of the junk DNA serves a purpose, therefore junk DNA is not a thing. It is a thing. Most of the genome is junk, in that it doesn't serve any function. But let's continue. Because by the way, he already changed the subject from whatever he was talking about with deletions and things like that.
Important thing is this, is that changing one gene, one genetic code in certain situation can be
Changing one gene, changing one genetic code. How many sentences can you utter to demonstrate that you have no clue what you're talking about?
fatal. You can die. Do not exist as a human being. Right? Now, the point is they're claiming thousands, if not millions, of changes in these studies, but everybody ignored them. So insertion, deletion, substitution, they ignore all these different things. Right? And they substitute, literally, they change, they delete certain genetic codes, they delete them.
Okay. Oh wow. So he's pretending that the people who are performing comparative genomic analysis are manipulating the data and changing base pairs to be whatever they want them to be. What are you talking? They do substitute. What are you talking about?
Blessing.
What are you talking about? We sequence a genome, and we compare them. What do you mean, do substitute? What?
Let me read you a book. Here comes the catch. Out of my way!
Like a baffling level of
I see everything.
that I can barely wrap my
Surely
head
knowledge.
One of them can be
Quietly now. Busted. Rain outlines your fate.
They delete what? What are you talking about? Nobody is deleting anything.
Everyone
Okay, I think I'm surmising what's happening. Is that when you do genomic
Things are
analysis
about to get
in
dicey. Witness the power of
ancestral
the bond is strong.
and you're looking
I
at
see everything.
you can
Temple of wisdom.
identify places historically where evolution has occurred, where deletions, substitutions, or insertions that occurred cause changes in the genome, and we're acknowledging where that happened
Please hold on
now.
just a moment.
And this bozo is saying that we're looking at genomes and we're fabricating data and we're going, I want this
Let me
genome
read
to
you
look
a
like
book.
something else.
Things
I'm
are
just going to change the data.
Everyone will
That's
hear.
what this
Make
law
yourselves at home.
that biologists are doing.
Get with me.
I'm pretty sure that this what this is trying to say.
So this is the nonsense that they come up with. 1983. Exactly no.
Witness the power of the wild red. Outline not good. No, my soul. Here comes the catch.
Oh my god.
Here's a little.
Busted.
These are passive mutations.
The substitution. So they ignore all the percentages that they did insertion and deletion in them. They completely ignored it. And they put what they did substitutions. What do you mean substitution and insertion?
Yes, please explain how you don't understand what those words are.
What they say is that this method is already assumed. So you can see that in the picture that I have here. So we have to check it. Right? Let's assume these genes that I have on the top are the genes.
I'll catch up.
These genes, you mean like a dozen base pairs
are multiple genes. Is that what you're pretending?
And they slip down here on the hill. So the genes between the ship and ship and Tima are completed. You see, brothers? Stop to see. And then it's even longer. Right? That's it. You start to see. So start to speak with me. Doesn't start to see. Right? So here's the gene. This one is the name. You can throw on this. Many differences between them. What they do, when they use these methods that already is doing, they assume that it's for masses. And then they add this type of genes in the middle that they brought from the pocket, right? That
What genes in the middle? This guy thinks that a singular base pair is a gene. Like, I can't. This is like blowing my mind how dumb this guy is. This is so, like, oh my god, you're so much dumber than I thought.
Things are about to get dicey. Quietly now.
I need
this is the common ancestor between the human and the ship. Yeah, so the green
Get with me. Quietly now.
First of all, you're completely fumbling the concept of comparative genomics. And then you're introducing a third species. What common ancestor? What is the common ancestor?
Let me read you a verse. Rain outlines your fate. No, my
and what they use is that they use that as evidence to align between the ship and the hill.
Game's up.
Settle this. So they completely the sea and they find the sea and they will do what we call substitution.
Witness the power of the wild. Rain outlines your fate.
And they will give the as it has.
Here comes the
And it's just, I mean, this is like what I said.
Gotcha.
There's no way around it. The guy doesn't know what substitution, insertion, and deletion mean. He doesn't know what the words mean. And he's pretending that what they mean is that researchers doing comparative genomics fabricate data. Like when he says substitution, what he thinks that means is that a researcher goes, well, in order to support the dogma, the atheistic evolution dogma, in order for my research to serve my logical purpose, I need to fabricate this data.
Rain outlines your
substitution. Like, that's straight up what this guy is saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what this guy is pretending. The biologist. I'm just like, this is. I never.
Here comes the catch.
bond is strong.
I'm so used to Discovery Institute, like where it's like the most elevated version of domination lies, and they would never say anything this stupid. So it's like a little bit shocking to like readjust this mind-numbing
Rain outlines your fate. Rain cutter.
I see everything.
I didn't think of course. What did you do? Did you do this inception? Deletion?
Quietly now.
Out of my way.
That's why we have this
Here comes the catch. Gotcha. Rain outlines your fate. Witness the power. Go wild.
Our bond is strong.
Thousands of millions of genes, depending on how big the study is.
There's no organism that has millions of genes. There's no. They're removing millions of genes.
I am the cutting edge of fashion.
The guy doesn't know the difference between a base pair and a gene. That's how dumb this guy is.
They're not only doing all of this nonsense, but then drawing all the other studies that says other. You come to the other thing and write the point. Here, same magazine. He has this other wall. Now, okay, 98%, but then it's actually 98.
As a beautiful maid wound.
Actually 70%. Question is, what are the order from? The answer is simple. They all use different methods. One is using black, one is using black, one is using HGMDR, one is using motion sensor, and the other one is using motivation.
You have no clue what any of that means. You have no clue.
hate to say,
Let my name echo and song.
you're
Reliqua's
pasting
soup.
links and random numbers. You can go through that instance.
We were actually 98% small scientists, right? We did an experiment. Community and public game, right? And we were actually 98% every study that is done will come with the conclusion that we have a point A. This is how science works. And then we would say that actually this is scientific reality that we are 98%.
Let's build steady as
This
stone.
nonsense that they're doing. And because of all of these different methods, games that they're playing, they're coming from different. They're ignoring any other research that would say yes. All of these
Dang it,
games
I
and research
forgot.
and there's many other things I just brought to you because I know working with that amount of nonsense that they do when they try to pick the genes that look
Karina
like each other.
really needs
There's no nonsense
Pavonius.
whatsoever. You just don't know what DNA is. You don't know what genomic analysis is. You're pretending that all of the biologists in the entire world are idiots, and that you, a science illiterate toddler, know better than the entire scientific community. It's astounding.
These that do not look like each other. Okay, you want to say something before I move on?
No. You know the point that you're raising here. I think some people they'll look at particular pictures, they'll look at the insertions and the deletions and the different numbers you're going over, and they'll get confused.
Time to act.
I think the way to
Let me read
some
Game's up. Fun zone.
I'll settle this. Stand with me.
subjective
I see
how
everything.
they come
Make
to
yourself at home.
they can choose what they want, and because of that, that's
No,
why
my
you have
sword.
discrepancies.
Everyone hold hands.
There's no discrepancies. It's nothing subjective about it. You're taking a genome and
Witness the
another
power.
genome.
Things are about to get dicey.
It's pure math.
Busted.
Right? Here are two genomes. What percentage of them are identical? What percentage of identicality? It's pure math. It's nothing subjective. You just don't understand their methodology. Obviously, I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't know the precise methodology that you used to do it. But you guys don't know what DNA is.
Temple of Wisdom.
Quietly now. Gotcha. Let me read you a book. Rain outlines your fate. Game's up.
I mean, look, you can't make it any more clear than this for you. They don't change anything. They sequence a genome, and they compare them. They don't change anything.
Sorry.
You're... Oh my god. No, wait. Got my head around how dumb you are.
No, sorry, go ahead. So that's it's not just making a choosing, that's different. Yeah.
It's super important, and what we have to
Witness the
realize
power.
about
Here comes the cash.
I'll settle this. Dissipate. I see everything. Make yourselves at home.
the scientists
Busted. Quietly now.
and they
No, my sword.
take the names of
Everyone hold
scientists who are put together these papers and interview them before.
Our bond is strong.
Before they did
Hey,
research, and
the
ask
Temple of Wisdom.
Rain cutter.
every single one of them.
Busted. Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now.
Wow, biologists understand biology. Shocking.
Out of my way.
Let's ask physicists if they believe in gravity. Or let's ask chemists if they believe in atoms.
I see everything.
Oh my gosh,
Make
all of
yourselves
the
at home.
chemists believe in atoms. It's dogma.
Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey. Let me weave you a verse. Rain outlines your fate.
In here,
Our bond is strong. Hey,
similarities, special no one, this is really important, but
share my knowledge.
nobody's coming to
Everyone
evidence
hold hands.
from a perspectiveless perspective. All you
Here
get
comes the
have
cash. Gotcha.
here in their head
Busted.
was an
Witness the power of the rock. No, my sword.
coming to data.
I see everything.
Coming to hit their what's going to be was in philosophy of science. And that's why
Terrified.
are uncertain.
Make yourselves at home.
That's what the result in universities, brothers. They're already I was saying, what?
You have no idea what university
Gotcha. Busted.
You have no clue what goes on. If you took a Bio 101 course at any university and actually, like, studied how some practice, you wouldn't be stupid. You don't even know what DNA is. What is talking about?
I'm building up with all of that.
Leave it up to me. As a dutiful maid,
Whatever, that's why I opened the whole thing. So they took each of them one university. They were extended. You open the research, I told you, he is black. You open a science research with the same exact percentage, but different types of genes, they apply the same method. You're all using black again. You all use the different methods. Why are you pretending to know what sex means? Like, it's ridiculous. You don't know what that means.
I must leave no stone unturned as a good night
And
should.
they have all of these like, for example, simplified medicine. Anyway, give us
Delicate as silk.
what they would do is that because they want these two statements to be either
Let's do
cannot
it.
A, cannot A to happen. They want these two statements to be identical. So you're going to change cannot to happen in this position, and then you're going to do substitution, and then you change the position, or you do deletion of Muhammad before Muhammad is there, and you do deletion of Muhammad before Muhammad is there. Come up with the same conclusion.
This is the dumbest analogy of all time. I mean, like, first of all, he's still clinging to this thing that they're
Body
changing things. They're not changing anything. Second of all, genes don't have syntax. For the genetic codes that they constrain.
Quietly now. Busted.
You do these two statements on a completely different trait. Muhammad cannot be completely opposite, right? But they would do these methods now.
Out of my way. Things are about to get dicey. Witness the power of the one.
They do not get that.
Commit to memory.
Exactly 99%. Because this method, I can take
Quietly now.
I can take any human and anything.
Make yourself alone.
A bond is strong. Here comes
No,
the catch.
the genomes are percent simple.
Let me read you a verse.
That sounds like, I know that sounds crazy because a banana is nothing like, well, it's not a banana, it's a banana plant. Banana plant with whatever percentage similarity around 50%.
Quietly now.
Look at the metabolic pathways. Right, we're talking about
I'll settle
protein
this. Get with
in the
me.
genome. What are
Things
the
are about to get
proteins
dicey.
that all
Witness the power of
biological
the
life have in
Rain
common?
outlines
Even
your
plant
fate. No, my
compared to animal life. We're still talking about metabolic pathways. Right? What is in there? What is in every human cell that's also in every animal cell? Obviously, it's tremendous disparate, right? There's a lot of different stuff. There's some similarities. He's just scoffing at it because, I mean, come on, we're going to have a conversation with this guy about metabolism and metabolic
Here comes
pathways.
the catch.
You know what a protein is? This stuff.
I see everything.
Which method that we use?
Busted. Quietly now.
The Temple of Wisdom.
No, you do the comparative genomic analysis, and you get a number, and that's
Gotcha. Things are about to get
you
dicey.
can't say
Witness
whatever
the power
you
of the
want.
wild.
You can say whatever you want. Because
I
you're
see
a
everything.
lying charlatan apologist.
Out of
That's
my
not
way.
what scientists do. They perform experiments and they get data and they report their data.
And then there's a short point that I wonder if you just keep in mind.
A bond is strong.
Sharing the knowledge.
Let's Swedish scientists together
Rain outlines your fate. Here comes the catch. Rain cutter. Quietly now.
together in these categories.
Everyone hold hands.
Together this and that, and anatomy.
The Temple of Wisdom.
Need they have a common ancestor. So it's
Get with me.
quite obvious that these are similar.
Gotcha.
That doesn't mean they have a common
Time to act.
ancestor. I don't think you need the
Yeah, but
Let
it
me
does.
read you a
Because
verse.
bananas
Hands up.
in the 18th century.
Lightning
So
terrified.
you didn't have the standpoint that we have today of understanding genetics. Alright, so
Quietly now.
that's how obvious it is
Dissipate.
how nested hierarchies work and how biology works. He didn't have the ability. This is we're talking
Witness the power of the wild.
predates.
Know my soul.
Look at the
Rain
he
outline.
predates Gregor Mendel. He predates the entire field of genetics. How could he have any ability to understand the concept of common ancestry? How could he
I am the
possibly know?
cutting edge of fashion.
Historically, he's at a
Leave it up to me.
disadvantage. So he
As a
had this
beautiful made
ability
wound.
to morphologically organisms in these nested hierarchies, but you didn't understand how they could possibly be related. Luckily, you live in the 21st century, so you don't have to rely on the data that the advanced had and have current modern science. So what you guys do, you go like, oh, you did this, or the negative did this. Now, consider this is 2024, you guys. It's not 1740. So catch up.
Drop!
This is something that
Shower me with praise!
allow
Scatter!
They say, oh, if you were to check out these are not related, why are the genomes similar?
Crumble apart!
The answer to that
Starfall!
is why
Time to
would
shine!
the genomes similar if they are
Time to clean up!
similar?
I must leave no
But
stone
we are
unturned.
related. We are related. Again, this is, you're denying the concept that genetic similarity indicates ancestry. Right? You're denying the validity of paternity tests.
Strike a pose!
Right? If you like, if you want to deny the validity of a paternity test, I guess you could do that because you're a slippery creationist and there's no end to what you would deny. But if you,
Yeah, well, still isn't strong enough,
who the
although...
father of a child is by genetic similarity, why can't you determine the father's father and the father's father's father and the father's father's father? Father, I don't know how many fathers I said. They're like,
It could still work. What if I just replaced the Geo Traveler and just didn't bother with proccing? I still need energy, but Karina with Fab should hopefully mitigate that.
Because to people who actually understand biology, there's no line, right? This continues many generations into the past.
The question is who to replace.
And genera and families and etc.
We would expect it to be absolutely. It's the same. What I was saying before about the stage of right? Is that already the assumption that evolution is true, and the organ can be only useful if it's for survival and reproduction. But Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا جَمَالٌ حِينَ تُرِيحُونَ وَتُسْرِحُونَ وَحِينَ تَسْرَحُونَ. Allah says that these animals have beauty. Allah, I can accept with you that they're completely useless for survival and reproduction. And still there's a purpose. The purpose is beauty. Allah created them that way for the beauty of them to look more
I'll try this, and if it still doesn't work, I'm just gonna go with Navia.
Still not their argument, except that they're not useful for survival and reproduction. We can find an alternative explanation, right?
Let me read you a book. These are about to get dicey.
I'll settle this. Your bond is strong. I see everything. Take yourself a home.
It may be a beautiful trick. I mean, this is so unbelievable. Like, you're just like, if something doesn't serve an actual function towards survival, you have a catch-all. You have a catch-all saying,
Quietly now. Witness the power of the world.
I see everything. Share my knowledge.
it's very clear why you don't actually give it a concrete example.
A beautiful point related to what you said.
Our bond is strong. Out of my way.
When it comes down
How throw grows.
Things are about to get dicey. Know my soul. Rain outlines your fate. Rain anticipates your own.
The Temple of Wisdom. Hold for just a moment. Hey,
So you can get out and
let my magic begin. Game's up. Fun's over.
the bond is strong. I see everything.
Watch your foot.
Ouchie.
Know my soul. Let me read you a verse.
you're really stumping us with these links. There's lists of links you can read it. You don't know what they say.
The links, whatever they come to you, they claim that there's
A gift for you.
it's nothing for good research, right? It's nothing with video actions.
Please
Is that it's random invitation? Show me that replicant errors are not random.
Liar in consideration.
Show me.
I see everything.
Explain to me. You don't know what that
Rain
means.
outlines your
replication.
fate.
You don't know what. Explain to me. Tell me.
Could skip
Are you going to teach us? They come to you the most request.
Let my magic begin.
He will come to you
Stand with me.
You see to the false record. You just say the word. In the false record is the evidence for what you say. That's what you
Quietly now.
All of the transitional species that perfectly align with the geological strata that indicate a very clear progression of forms from ancestral life to other things. That's the evidence that you refuse to engage with.
Let's go.
You've got to feel what they are.
As a dutiful maid woman.
What evidence? It's all these things that you see. It's all you see and homo. It's that you call it homo. I think I love them. They show you all of these smells of the way. They think these are the organs. It's not just you. What they're using is this magazine, it's fiction, and I will see it. They're putting them right. Up to the day, it's a normal thing. So you have to be correct.
Leave it all to me. It's a good night show.
You could be a lot more prepared if you bet a high school biology.
Someone needs proof.
Now, we've gone now with everything is all called scientific. I've demonstrated. Now, what was it? Go back to that. What did I do? I've demonstrated that whatever they call falsehood record or evidence for illusion is everything given the second step. Right? So you've demonstrated the falsehood record is actually evidence against illusion.
No, you do
I'll
not
continue leveling up everyone involved in Noel's team, including Geo Traveler.
Fossil record is tremendous.
For now.
Evidence for evolution. Just fumble all of it.
Put forward the Cambrian explosion. We put forward how these species are actually evolving in very quick periods, and how it's impossible for it to happen on a long period. If it's not on a long period of time, it's impossible. And how the Cambrian explosion completely refutes this idea. I put forward all of the fabrication. Oh, by the way, I can go on and on. By the way, there's some 13 only links of some of the fabrications that they put forward to try to support the false record. Okay, so we move on from the false record. Seizure organs, we put forward how these are all lies. These organs are not a seizure. How it's even said.
Powerful wow. Here comes the catch. Out of my way.
I want to see what is really
I see everything. The Temple of Wisdom.
Gotcha. Busted. Ray outlines your fate. Game's up. Time's over. Let me read you a verse.
I see everything. Make yourselves a room.
Show the visual research from their magazine, from their company, how they
Stand with me.
we showed how similarities in genetic makeup is made up.
None of those things. Great work.
Always hope for the Temple of Wisdom.
Take care of.
Why is certain people trying to say let's harmonize evolution and it's not? Well, what do you evolution you want to harmonize? Which one? Which type of evolution do you want to harmonize? Which nonsense that they said and that they do? That they change the name?
Know my soul.
Because there are rational people
Out of my
amongst
way.
every
Bond
religion,
is strong.
whether it's this
I
long,
will take. Make yourselves a room.
whatever,
These
that
are about to get
understand that
dicey.
science is valid and
Quietly
they
now.
allow their ways
I see everything.
what science has shown to be true. So this is another one. I mean, there are religious people in science, there are scientists who are religious, there are scientists who believe in
Let
God,
me read you a
and
verse.
they accept science.
Rain
So you
outlines
clearly
your
are a
fate.
class
Here
far
comes the
below
catch.
those who lead to baseless ideology,
Commit to memory.
despite the evidence.
I'll meet at last.
This whole thing is a bunch of garbage. There's no
Clearly
If
mine.
you trash it, why would I have to trash it?
Know my soul.
And I want to, this is very important.
Rain outlines your fate. Game's up. Fun's over.
I see
They try to
everything.
take away
Stand with me.
the heart of the
Give my discourtesy.
Before all this nonsense,
Save
look
me.
at the easy. Look at Elena. Take a look at the trees, look at the air.
Let me read you a verse.
Other instances.
Quietly now. Busted.
I'll settle this.
Disenchantment must go on. Here comes the catch. Apologies.
Yeah, and if you go back thousands of years, we knew literally nothing. We control all of the lightning bolts throwing the lightning
I see everything.
from the clouds. We used to not know anything, and then through the scientific process, we begin to know things. You're actually pointing at past ignorance as evidence for current knowledge being false. You're like, we used to not know things, so the things that we know now aren't true. Like, that's like... I can't even wrap my head around how unbelievable
That's why for now, when he asked me to understand, I don't know, man.
Let me...
Given everything is shame of creation, and thank God, Allah is the one who given everything is shame, is creation, and thank God. This is the Lord that we worship.
Let's go. Watch out. Silver send
It's naturally innate. Looks around. Look, there has to be a creator. What do we do today? We should have this whatever rubbish nonsense that they're calling evidence. It's not evidence for them, rather it is evidence for them.
Light it up.
Watch out. This genetic things are random. All these mutations, God is mutations are happening. How is natural selection happening? Different environments, organized, how it's happening. Why the all of these species evolve quickly and not on a prolonged period of time? How are they evolving and all of these changes are happening in the body? There is no one controlling them. You have to explain all of that. You have to give us an explanation. Now, it's called the field of biology. Look into
Game's up. Fun is over. Gotcha. Quietly now. Busted.
all of those things.
Body and knuckles. Let me weave you a bow. Here comes the catch. Take it easy.
To deal with it, okay? So that's what we established.
Gotcha.
Moving on to what we call
Our bond is strong.
the rational problem idea.
I see everything.
Quietly now.
By the way,
No, my soul. Witness the power of this. I'll settle this.
Number one is
Get with me. Things are about to get dicey. Gotcha. Quietly now.
What I want to say.
Time to act.
Yeah, number two is it is not
Rain cutter. Rain outlines your fate. Here comes the catch. Gotcha. Quietly now.
I see everything.
What?
The Temple of
I've already
Wisdom.
demonstrated to you examples and
Lightning,
I've demonstrated to you whenever
Everyone's okay?
the cause of the cause against
Let me
whatever
read you a
it is.
verse. Busted.
This is complete crap.
Get with me. Game's up.
Cornerstone of
Fun is over.
biology. Biology is science. It's a science. It's the cornerstone of biology. The idea that it's not falsifiable is ridiculous. You have no clue what you're talking about. It is absolutely
Let's
falsifiable.
light it up.
Find me two species that are intended that are proposed to exist in the same
I am
genes
the cutting edge
that
of
are
fashion.
just their genomes are totally dissimilar. Like they have completely different polymerase
Everybody stand back.
enzymes, and
Nice
just
and
like
spicy.
all of the enzymes are completely dissimilar, such that there's no way that they evolutionarily related, and yet morphologically they absolutely must be close to the evolutionarily related. That would be evidence against evolution, right? Find me humanoid
Teamwork
forms
is
in
dreamwork.
Precambrian strata, right? That would be evidence against evolution. Why is it that the strata so inaccurately show the process of evolution over geological time? Show me species that violate that process. That would be evidence against evolution. It 100% is falsifiable. This hasn't been falsified because evolution is true.
Everybody stand back.
Right? You won't live to failure to learn about any of these things. You just are so clueless about everything happening. You don't understand literally 9th grade biology. You were using genetic codes and genes interchangeably. You don't know what you're talking
Rain
about.
outlines your fate.
He changed the whole come up with a new name, a big enough name,
Gotcha.
explain what you're
Here comes the catch.
there is nothing that is
Let's go.
Commit it to memory. Ikitsuku.
that makes it is not science to begin with. Because this
Out of my way.
biology
Got it
and
strong.
science.
This place pretty little.
Busted. Quiet
It
now.
has to be explained in natural process. You don't
Hands up.
accept that
Friendzone.
anything
Huh?
unnatural, metaphysical,
Rain outlines your face. Let me read it.
Commit it to memory. The temple
That
of
is how
wisdom.
science works. We look for naturalistic explanations of phenomena that we see in nature. That is just science
Here
does
comes the
not
catch.
pursue supernatural explanations ever. That's just how science works. If you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with science in general. So don't pretend to be working within the confines of science and
Rubber stand
critiquing
down.
the scientific process.
Going in.
You're just
Let's light it up.
rejecting science. You are science deniers. That is what you are. So, I mean, at least embrace that, right?
based on that false assumption that they already started, the theory cannot be falsified. I already showed you that with the I've already showed you that
Rubber
with the
stand down.
philosopher.
From the
How
sea.
would
Everybody stand
different
back.
exposure happen in change? How the ecology show that the ecology is not in comprehensive change? How we show that it's not in the environment in change the name?
Delicate as
They
silk.
will move forward, they will change, and they will get as if that there's the only thing all of them. Some of them have it.
Rubber stand down. From the sea.
They don't
Teamwork is
change
teamwork.
anything, and they explain.
Eat this. Nice and spicy.
Let's go.
Hey there.
Anything which you would try to move forward against the future of survival, which is why people disqualify from being a scientific theory, because evolution is not scientific. Evolution is crux, it is understanding, it's not a scientific theory. Why? This is pseudoscience. It's not something that you can observe. I cannot observe species.
Let's light it up.
I think it cannot happen. They claim because
False, we have observed speciation. Good.
of gradualism, we already defeated this idea of gradualism, but they still use it as evidence. Yeah. Okay, because of gradualism, you cannot see. Okay, you claim that there are some species who can evolve quickly. Why we're not seeing them today? Why are some species today evolving?
We do observe that, particularly in microbial life. We observe evolution, rapid evolutionary change. We observe speciation. Let's learn something.
The quickest we can observe them and see the changes that take place. Right. So it is pseudoscience because it's not under the scientific method. It's not under experimentation, repeatability, and falsification. I can experiment under a species that's changing from one to another. I cannot repeat the experiment, and I cannot falsify the theory. Because whatever you come up with, you claim it is something else. And it's all based on pseudoscience, like I showed you. All of this idea of homo habilis, homo erectus, all of that. They have like chapters of stories. Oh, the Homo habilis was working in this part of the region, he met the Homo.
I had Tuesday today.
Yeah, it's pseudoscience, not science. That's not.
It's not fictional just because you say it is. We find these specimens, we learn about their anatomy and physiology, and we discern things about when they lived, how they behaved. That's how science works. So when you come back, when you try to denigrate the entire field of biology or anthropology, whatever it is, with the you just look like an idiot. Actually try to engage with the body of scientific knowledge. Try it sometime.
How science is conducted. You don't find a tooth and then say that this creature existed and he was walking, eating in this region based on finding a tooth. That's not science. That is not.
Yeah, and we don't do that with the tooth. We do that with hundreds upon hundreds of complete specimens, nearly complete, right? Nearly entire skeletal remains. Hundreds of them. That's what we do.
Oh, using, you can call it philosophy, call it whatever you want. But that's the theory of evolution is not a scientific theory to begin with. That's something that we need to look into. And whatever science that they're using is already refuted, right? So this is the first two ideas that I'm putting forward, and this is very important. The reason behind the demonstration that we put forward is to make this idea clear in our minds. If something is unfalsifiable, you cannot ask them to falsify it again. That's why you have to ask them for the evidences for them claiming it is true to begin with. Because all of the evidences are and the whole
evidences. Even I'm finding it very annoying.
The rocks that are forming
now.
the whole building is falling apart. And if there's no evidence for it, it's not science to begin with. That's why whenever you go to one thing, they will move on to a different thing, to a third thing, a fourth thing, right?
As you do when you go through your links and don't even click on any of them and just jump from one thing to another after talking.
Now, another thing is the idea of randomness. We've already refuted there is no blind natural selection or random mutation, but the idea of randomness itself, randomness doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in reality. Randomness is basically the lack of explanation.
Years of the storm.
Randomness
Scared
doesn't
enough.
exist. Okay,
Backward
roll
swirl.
some dice and tell me predict the outcome. Right? Predict for me with statistical significance the outcome of the dice roll. I bet you can't do it. I know you can't do it because if you could, you'd be a multi-trillionaire, would have gone to Vegas by now, and you would have killed it at craps. So, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Not random. I have no clue what you're saying.
I flip a coin, it's not 50%. I just do not know how much pressure I'm putting in. I do not know the gravity. I do not know which side I'm pushing the coin. If I were to know all of these factors, then there's no such thing as randomness.
Shower me with praise.
Even if you did know all of these things, there's such a thing as randomness. There's a thing called quantum indeterminacy. That's the most
Breaking news. Have fun with this gift.
We're not going to you guys don't even know what it is, so we're not going to try to blow your minds with quantum physics. Not even that I'm an expert on it to begin with, but I definitely know enough to know that everything you're saying is objectively ridiculous on the fundamental level matters probabilistic, not deterministic.
For the whole theory is based on randomness. We've refuted already the pillars of randomness, random mutation, and all of that. And the idea of randomness itself is wrong.
Time to shine. Strike a pose. Hard-hitting exclusive. Truth repeats its course.
Your belief that you're a
Take
naturalist.
flight.
So you cannot pick and
Backward
choose.
swirl.
Like, when it comes to this one, or it comes to this one, I'm not going to accept naturalism.
Dare to mess with me.
It's hidden important for the chance. There's no such thing as a that. The whole thing is written in the middle of, as we said, the geoflight is based on the genes and homology. And we showed that the genes and homology have nothing, are not evidences for anything. Homology is not evidences for common ancestry. And the genes are not similar as they claim that they are. So where does this whole idea of geoflight come from? It all falls apart. Abiogenesis. It is an assumption they can't explain. Where is the start of? I didn't even go into that details. I don't want to. Where's the start of all of that?
Of course you didn't go into details, because if there's anything you understand less than biology, it's chemistry. Anybody watching this probably knows that 10 hours of content I made in James Core, so if you want to talk about abiogenesis, go look at that.
When did it start with the first? How did carbon start growing hands and legs started walking and we've got what we have today?
Hands and legs, right? Abiogenesis needs to make hands and legs, you guys. You're not skipping any steps at all. You're not skipping 2 billion years, of course. Hands and legs.
Time to shine. Breaking news.
Yeah.
Truth repeats its course.
Slow, bro.
Backward swirl. So rude.
They would claim that all of these changes, all of these articles that you provided, is evidence is wrong. It shows how it's shade. This is the biggest nonsense that ever come up. That's why I left it at the last one. This is garbage from them. This is true if you have already pillars, foundations of the data are undisputable. And then you've got branches that sometimes happen that needs explanation that you might explain in an evidential way. That's what science is. Not make the color bring the whole thing is nonsense. And because science is changing, we're going to change the nonsense every day, every day, and this is science.
What do you say? This is like, oh my god. I think what he's trying, he's trying to denigrate science for the fact that it changes. Is that what he's saying? Like, that's how we know it's valid, and like the religious dogma that you blindly follow. It's just like, these guys, like, it's at a point where they just sort of, rehash talking points that they've heard from dead creatures, and then just fumble them while giggling. That's what this guy's doing.
Not be fooled by the Muslims, right? Because this is moment answers that they would come up with. They would come and say, this is science and science is changing, that's why. No, it's not that. Because then you've got nothing units to begin with. Not the foundation of it. Got nothing that is well established and based on it the theory. And then look of explaining certain things to begin with. So never accept this concept of what they call change of science, right? And let's go now to the
Shower me with praise! Let the world come on! Truth bomb! Tears of the storm! Dare to mess with me!
Kamisato art.
Soumetsu! Whirling snow! Mute Elvis! Time to shine! Strike a pose! No wait for regret! Hard-hitting exclusive! Truth repeats its course! My apologies! Embrace the ice! Hold that pose! Whirling snow!
About common species. It was specifically about human evolution. That's what the Nobel Prize went to. Like, you're gonna make a statement like that about Nobel Prizes, and you don't even look at like what the past 5 years of Nobel Prizes were. Like, this is how arrogant.
already believe it and they don't want to believe in anything else. Evolution to them equals no creation. And because evolution to them equals no creation, they will fight everything, try to prove the nonsense. They don't want to believe in God. And many of them believe science is against them. Many of them have a Christian background, so they've been had bad experiences in their life. Generally, they don't want to walk away from religion, already have this assumption. So they will accept aliens, more like Richard Dawkins, will accept aliens over accepting that there is a creator, intelligent maker of universe. Not accept that. They will accept things like intelligent matter. This article that I put back
It's just like the projection here is just out of control. Like they're trying to ascribe dogma to empirical science to mask their own dogma, right?